welcome. So I'm doing a special video today. What I'm going to be doing is showing you how to get things set up in a single player of Ark. I'm not going to be showing you how to run a dedicated server, I'll be honest with you. We rent a server. If I were to explain to you how to run a dedicated server, I would probably have to go watch a YouTube video, and what's the point of that? You guys can probably find a video out there explaining how to run a dedicated if you want to play with your friends. So this is going to be showing you basically how to get a nice server set up for yourself that's pretty close to vanilla, that's got some settings that are comfortable. So, you know, I play a lot of 7 Days to Die. I haven't played recently, but we play with mostly vanilla settings. I think almost all vanilla settings. The only thing we really change is on death you drop your toolbar instead of your backpack, and that's because when we first started playing, that's how the game was set up. But other than that, vanilla. We prefer vanilla. When it comes to Ark, this game was really set up for large groups. It was set up like an MMO to have you be able to play with a large group of friends. So you can't unlock all the engrams, and on basic normal settings, dino tames can take like upwards of 8 hours, you know, for some of the higher level stuff, if not more. And honestly, if you don't have a large group of people playing at different times that you can swap in and out of, it's difficult. And I've played a few times on the public server, playing on a PvP server with some friends, and that was a hard life. I mean, I went back to playing on my nice rented server afterwards because that was just rough. I mean, alpha, you might like it. I'm not gonna say, I'm not gonna judge anybody likes it, you know, that's your taste, but large alpha servers kind of ran things, and if you weren't in an alpha server, you know, your life wasn't great on Ark. So this is for people who want to just kind of jump in and they don't really know what to do. So I'm gonna see if I can get this set back to restore to default. So I'm gonna show you the island first because this is the original starter map. I love Ragnarok. That is a great map. To be honest, I absolutely hated Scorched Earth. Or not Scorched Earth, excuse me, the center. I don't know what it was about the center, but I just hated how it was set up. So anyway, we're in here at the spot where you set up your custom game. So you're in your single player. And you can start with all these basic settings, but there's some things in here that are going to make your life kind of difficult. So this is kind of interesting here. The default setting for difficulty is 0.2. Now this isn't bad. When you're first starting out, yeah, this is alright. This is alright. At the moment on the current rented server we have, because we didn't really think about it or know, our settings are at 0.5. That means the highest level wild dino we come across is 82. I think if you have it slid all the way up, it's 150. Maybe it's even higher. 164, I guess, would be it if we're at half and 82 is half of 82. Or 2 times 82 would be 164. So 0.2, you're going to get lower level dinos, but this is good for a first time person, so it's not bad, but again, set this up to your taste. If you have some experience with Ark, go ahead. If you want to just be like, no, let's make this as difficult as possible, change your slider, go all the way up on difficulty. I'm going to go ahead and set mine to 0.5 because if I decide to play around on here and bring anything over to the rented server that I play on, I want my dinos to be comparable in level. So now let's come down to the next thing that I think is important, and that is the XP multiplier. Now I don't mess with this too much, but I'm going to tell you now, we've been playing on our rented server for a few months now. And I play with a bunch of people that are MMOers and dedicate a lot of time and work and effort into this game. And none of them are max level except for myself. And that just happens to be because I crafted a lot of things. And our XP is set at 0.2. I'm going to go ahead on this server and set my XP to 0.2. You can go even higher. But the reason I'm doing this is because getting to 75 is really easy. Like my buddy, first time playing Ark, he came in. By the end of day 2, we had him wyvern milking. He was already level 70. That was 2-3 months ago. He's now level 96. So that's how much progress he's made from day 2 in 3 months. So immediately after that, you have taming speed. This, to me, if you're playing by yourself, maybe you're somebody that has a lot of time on your hands and you don't mind the taming speeds, you want things challenging, that's fine. That's your personal preference. You need to find a comfort zone for yourself, because for me, this game wasn't about breaking my back taming animals. It was about having a good time, doing some work, but not, spending half of a day, the amount of hours I would spend at a full-time job to tame a T-Rex. So, what we normally run on is 5, but you can go higher, you can go lower. Again, find what's comfortable for you. You can change these settings once you've set them. In this menu, every time you go into your custom game, find something that's really nice for you. Now, this is another thing I changed. 1 is actually okay. It's not bad. It takes a while to get used to it, but it's alright. We do up it to 2, again, because this game is definitely designed for a large group of people gathering, and it just makes life a little bit easier. So I do 0.2 for harvesting amounts. Character water drain, I leave that alone. Character food drain, I leave that alone. Dino character food drain, leave this alone. Now let me tell you why. We had some people go out of town, and we dropped the food drain for them because they were really worried about their dinos while they were gone. And a few of us were still playing, and we just didn't want to worry about, between the two of them, they had like 14 troughs that we would have to feed on a regular basis. But my buddy down to Giga, and he sent me a message yesterday and said, I've been sitting here with this Giga for 30 minutes and hasn't eaten a kibble. Oh, crap. It isn't getting hungry. So, don't mess with it. Don't lower it. You're going to screw yourself over with taming if you lower it. He sent me a message a little bit later on. He's like, I hatched some babies. They're not eating. Just leave it be. It's fine. We're going to go ahead and keep scrolling down, see if there's anything else we see. Player harvesting damage. I usually leave that alone. So let's see. I like to make sure that third person is enabled. It makes it really nice. I like to make sure crosshair is enabled. PvE mode is nice too. You can't accidentally kill your dinos, but it's kind of a matter of preference whether you have it on or off. There are a few things that some mods let you have, like an admin gun where you just destroy your own buildings, and you can't use that with it. So I'm going to go ahead and check it on. Let's see, disable friendly fire. I'm going to check that on so I don't hurt my own dinos. Sometimes I go a little crazy with the wyvern. Use corpse locator, that's great. Single player settings, that's fine. Disable structure collision. I like that because of how I like to build. Yep. Allow multiple floors on platform saddles. Allow unlimited respecs. That's pretty nice too. And I think most of the rest of the settings are on the next page. So I just wanted to check the harvest amount. I know on the page that we use for our host, it has like a separate one for people and for animals, but I am only seeing harvest amount here and harvest damage, so we'll just leave that be. So let's come up here, check what we've got in here. Allow PvE cave building is a nice option. Allow PvE flyer carrier, wonderful option too. You don't want to disable the PvE gamma. It's really nice to be able to change your gamma when it gets dark at night. Unless you want a challenge, then go ahead, and you don't trust yourself not to cheat the gamma. Alright. Scroll down. Now this one is kind of optional. If you want an easier life, you can check off prevent diseases or check off non-permanent diseases. This I think is really good. Characters will lose the disease when they respawn. When we played on the public server, we were greeted with the second we loaded in. One of my buddies got clubbed by level 1s with swamp fever and then had to spend the rest of his time playing trying to get rid of it. So force allow cave flyers. So dinos will be allowed into caves. Flyers are able to go into caves by default on custom maps. Sure, we'll go ahead and check that off. So let's see what else we've got here. Scrolling down. Allow anyone to imprint cuddle. I just put that on. There's no point to it. So here we go with the egg laying interval, mating interval. So this is for people that want to breed. And breeding is really, really fun. You will get some dinos that are kind of OP. If you're playing by yourself, I'm going to say have a good time with mating, but if you think it's too easy, that's fine. We have our settings set up pretty high, but some of the bigger dinos still take a long time. Giga takes 20 hours. We're at times 15. Now, without it, I think it would take days and days and days of feeding. And there is still a bug present that Wildcard is working on, and that's, at least for us on our dedicated, that sometimes we'll leave an area and we'll come back and everything will have spoiled. Babies will enter stasis, and they won't eat while they're in stasis, so it's not like we can fill their trough and have them eat and grow while we're offline. That's a problem. I don't think it'll happen like that with a private, because I don't think anything happens when you're offline, but mating interval. I don't think our mating interval is turned up that high, but I'm just, for the sake of it, I'm going to turn it to 15. Turn everything to 15. And the reason I'm not using the sliders is because I think they only go up to 6, but you can go ahead and manually change it here. And here's something that you need to do. If you're changing your speed, you need the cuddle interval if you want to do it the legit way. We just set baby imprint quality because our website didn't allow us to change this. But these are very important. How you change these, I think you'd have to do a little bit of math to get it just right. But what I'm going to do, because like a lot of animals like my pteranodons took like 2.5 hours to mature, and they didn't want care. They wanted care in 3 hours, so I couldn't even imprint on them once before they were done. So, if you want shorter nights, you can adjust it here. I don't mind the nights, the length they are, so I leave that alone. I leave all of this alone. You can see, though, that tame dinos, they get a little bit less damage and health and all that kind of good stuff. You can mess with it. You're going to end up with OP dinos, and it's going to just make things a little bit too easy. But if you want things easy, go with it. Now here's the experience multipliers. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to change all of these to 2, just to give me a little boost. Because otherwise it is going to be very, very slow to level. You can go even higher than this. You can go as high as you want. Because, you know, it took me months to get to level 100, and other people still aren't at level 100, so let's come on down, look at some more of these. We got, just looking, allow raid dino feeding. I checked this off. This is basically for the Titanosaur. Normally you can't feed them once they're tamed, so you get basically until they starve and then they die and they're gone forever. I've never bothered taming one, but if I want to, it's there. I just gotta feed it and it'll live forever. So we're just gonna leave all of these alone except fuel consumption. I'm gonna turn that down because they recently nerfed the fuel and made it so it consumes more. And I'm also going to turn up structure limits, and I'm going to go ahead and use the slider for that one. So, and now I'm going to talk about mods. So, excuse me. Basically, I have a lot of mods that I'm subscribed to, and if you go look at the workshop, there are so many really cool mods out there. I played with a friend that she was playing on somebody else's rented server that was open to the public, and she's like, you gotta try out this server. I went to play on it, and it was like loading 106 mods. I could never finish loading them all. There was a glitch on one of them. It wouldn't download. That's just a mess. A mess. They went too crazy with mods. She ended up renting her own. She still had 36 mods on her server, and it took me 20 minutes every time I loaded into her server. But she had some really awesome stuff on there. So there is a trade-off. If you want mods, you got to be aware not everything works together. I've had to pull stuff off. Like Insect Plus was an awesome mod. Didn't work with Jones Egg and Poop Collector because they both need to be the first mod you loaded, so I had to pick and choose, you know, because it was causing our server to crash. It had to come off. So you gotta kind of make decisions about what you really want on here. But what I'm going to show you is mods that keep the game very close to vanilla, that just add some simplicity of life and make the game a little bit easier for the person that's playing by themselves, so they don't have to stand around the house and spend all their time doing their chores. You're still going to have to stand around and do chores, but it's going to get you back into the game faster and playing and enjoying yourself. So the first one, and this has to be loaded first, is the Egg and Poop Collector, Jones Egg and Poop Collector. And let me talk to you a little bit about this mod. Basically what it does is it gives you a large compost bin, which makes fertilizer at the same rate as a dung beetle, which is good because this mod breaks dung beetles. So you aren't going to be getting oil from a dung beetle. That is a downside. But it also has a thatch and fertilizer collector that automatically puts fertilizer on your crop plot boxes. So I place it next to my crop plot boxes. I put thatch into it. It takes the poop from the Egg and Poop Collector, which is another part of this mod, puts it into the large compost bin, which is part of the mod, puts that thatch I put into it in there, takes all the fertilizer out, puts the fertilizer on my crop plot boxes, saving me a lot of steps. So all I have to do is make sure there's thatch in there, and my garden stays fertilized all the time. It's perfect. It's wonderful. In addition to that, egg collection is a pain in the butt. If you're like me and you like to kibble tame things, you're going to need tons and tons and tons of eggs. And you're going to probably have a lot of dinos that are used for nothing but eggs. and running out in your yard and remembering to pick up eggs and being there at the right time when they drop the eggs so that you have the eggs for the kibble. It's a pain in the butt. And then you got to have refrigerators to store all the eggs. This takes the pain out of all of that. When your dinos lay an egg, it picks up the egg. Not even your dinos. It will pick up wild dinos. I was living on Ragnarok over a dungeon. I was getting Titan boa eggs, and that was before Titan boas were tameable. So I was getting one of the hardest eggs to get free thanks to this mod. So it's really, really, really nice. It also picks up poop for you too. So yeah, okay, maybe the Phiomia is a little less important. You aren't sitting there force feeding it stimberries and making it poop for you to make lots and lots of fertilizer. But this thing just makes life so easy. In addition to that, if you want to get into breeding, the egg incubator is a must, because if you've ever tried breeding without it, which I have, you'll know these eggs are so finicky. They need lots of heat, they're too hot, they're too cold, and then the weather may change, and then suddenly, you know, the 8 torches you have on are just too much, and you got to turn them off, or you need more air conditioners. So this takes that away. It makes the eggs the perfect temperature all the time. So there are some arguments for it being a little bit OP, making your life a little too easy. I get that. But it just makes the game a lot more enjoyable if you just want to jump into the meat of the game and not have to worry about a lot of that crap. So that is my #1 mod. I load it on there first all the time. Now the second one I'm going to recommend here is Classic Flyers. So not too long ago they nerfed flyers. They said, hey, people aren't utilizing ground mounts like we hoped they would. How do we fix that? We want people to use ground mounts more. And their solution was, oh, we'll just nerf flyers. So what this mod does is it goes and takes all the flyers and sets them back to their old values pre-nerf. So that's why I like it. Because for me, coming back to the game and being like, yeah, let me just jump on a Pteranodon, I was like, what the heck? I don't understand what's going on. This is terrible. So I put that on there. Now, one of the other ones I have on here, Death Helper. So there's already a built-in feature that shows you your bag when you die. The reason I have Death Helper in here is because of the corpse finder that you can craft. I like that feature because sometimes you don't always know about where you were. It shows you a line in the direction of your corpse. So I'm going to put that one on here. I'm also going to put one on called Pet Finder. It does basically the same thing. So let's find it here. These are not a necessity. They're just nice. I like both of these. Now, anything else that's really in here I think is not necessarily like a necessity. These are all just sort of some fun things. I like this mod a lot because I used to love building boathouses until the lead Scythicus was added. So this is a choice. If you want the seas to be difficult and you don't want to be able to just make a raft and have a good time on your cool raft, don't put this one on. But if you want to be able to get out on the seas and not worry about leads other than alphas, let me state that now because alpha lead Scythicus will still attack your boat, put this mod on. This works really well. Let's see, there we go. So that is Moby Dickless. It is a great mod. I have had some problems on Ragnarok. Every time they do a Ragnarok update, I have like a test raft that I leave next to leads. And if that raft dies to a lead, I know that I have to do a wild dino wipe because something about the update has reset the leads to be vanilla leads again. What this does is it actually replaces the lead Scythicus that you have normally in the game with a different type of lead Scythicus that's programmed not to attack rafts. So all it takes is a wild dino wipe to fix it. Now this one adds nothing to your game, but it's nice. The haircuts and emotes were a holiday thing that you can't get except on Valentine's Day. I like putting it on there. I like looking good. So you can see I'm hitting this button and that's putting them up here. So, versatile raft mod. This came out before the speedboat. I like it. I like using it in conjunction with Moby Dickless. It just gives you some more options with rafts that you can build bigger, because I do like water. Obviously, if you're playing on Scorched Earth, this is pointless. If I do build a nice raft, I like putting boat pipes on. Again, this is all your choice. You know, I build greenhouses on my boats, but you really don't need to do this. This is just something that I like. So I'm putting it on there. That totally not a necessity. But now I'm going to talk about two that a lot of people really, really love. And some people use them together, some people don't. And that's Structures Plus, and I don't know if they've implemented it into the main game. They were talking about implementing it and letting people toggle whether they wanted it on or off. But Structures Plus is an excellent mod that allows you to pick up basically the building blocks you've placed, and it adds a few more options for building blocks. I'm not going to be adding it in this game. It is wonderful. I do love it. It does take away a lot of the vanilla. But also what's really annoying me was the last time I put it on a game is there was just way too frickin' many engrams. So I'm going to leave that one off. And I'm going to put this one on. I know I clicked no collision on my structures. But I'm using this one anyway because it adds something that I really like, and that is variable height foundations. And it's also bundled with a glass metal mod done by Ivam that is beautiful. So I'm putting this one on here too. So this is still a lot of mods. There are a few game-changing mods, but it's nothing very, very big game-changing here. Just a few little things. The rest of the stuff I have in my list is some other little things. This one's really nice too. Huge deep-sea loot crates. I would say spend a little bit of time underwater before you decide whether or not that you want this one on, because there are people that have reported having issues with this mod. I haven't had an issue with it yet, but I know some people have. But it does make the loot crates underwater super duper easy to see. Very, very nice. This one is just a fluff item. I love the eco trees. It does let you place a redwood tree wherever the heck you want, so that is a bit OP, but it does have a really big cost. But I like it mostly for the decorative trees and flowers and all that kind of good stuff. So again, that's a flavor one. I'm going to go ahead and put it on because I might play this island playthrough later, so rest of this is basically fluff stuff. The eco stuff, if you're looking for really good extra building things, they're beautiful. The steampunk mod, also beautiful. But yeah, play around with it, get your settings right, and now I'm finally going to start up the game and not just make you stare at the menu while I talk my butt off. So let's start this up. I do have the menu music off because it drives me crazy, but it'd be nice to know that this is actually loading. I'll do like my mom used to do and click like 8 more times to see if it actually loads. Loud. But yeah, I don't think, like, I know that my settings are set pretty easy, but I don't think they're insanely easy. There's still a bit of challenge to it. And, yeah, it's good. It's good fun. The Moby Dickless mod, the one that makes the lead Scythicus not attack your refs, that's kind of putting it back to the game back to where it was before the lead Scythicus were in the game. Same with the classic flyers, which is basically when I started playing, and I loved the boats, I loved the flyers. Kind of was annoyed that those were put in there. kind of also understand that they need to balance for PvP and make things more challenging. Because when I played on the PvP server, most people just had a raft and they avoided ever coming to land, you know, unless they absolutely had to. So, alright, so here we are. No map. I think I forgot to put the settings that shows me on the map. Might have to change that. So we get to choose our zone to spawn in, and you can't really see the map, but you can kind of get an idea of where we're going to spawn. So I know the island pretty well. I usually spawn in the southeast just because, I don't know, I've always spawned down here. What I'm going to do is something a little bit different. I'm going to go for the north. These are a little bit hard, but I kind of want to show you some really good spots to build. And I don't know what my character looks like. I think I'm a dude. That's okay. I can always delete this one later. No, I'm a chick. Alright, that's fine. So, welcome. First thing. Start picking up stones. You're going to start on the beach and get you some stones. Punch a little bit of some trees. We need to make ourselves a pickaxe. So let's see. We learned. Oh, right, it's hatchet. Pick. No. Stone pick. We already have it. Let's learn hatchet too if we can. We cannot. We have to be level 2 for that. So let's go ahead and make a pick. And get to work. Gonna start getting some wood. And some flint. And we've leveled, so let's go ahead and put a point in something. I'm gonna put it into health. Whoa! How did I get that many skill points? What the heck did I do? I have no idea what I did. Oh well. Maybe I accidentally upped my experience a little bit too much. I have no idea. That should definitely not have happened. I have no idea if maybe this is a character I already created and gave XP to. I have no idea. Yeah, so this is not a good example. So I'm gonna stop giving myself points here and go ahead and get myself a stone hatchet. Holy cow. I might just have to remake that character. Oh, oops. I drugged the engram too. So, you see how I just drugged the crafting recipe to my bar. This is actually not a bad thing if you need to craft a lot of something, like you're making walls. It works out pretty good. There we go. Now we got some basic resources. So, we're probably going to want to get ourselves somewhere safe. So, unfortunately, punching the tree took my health down a bit. Let's go ahead and make ourselves. We're probably gonna need to learn how to do this. Spear and bola. This is level 9, so shouldn't be level 9, but the spear is not. So we'll go ahead and make ourselves a spear. We need some fiber for that. So I see fiber up ahead. Just walk up to plants, hold down E, and you get lots of good stuff. This has to be a character I made ahead of time. Let's see what the character's name is. Ray. Oh, yeah, it is. It is a character I made ahead of time. Must have just been when I deleted the server, my character was still alive. That's kind of weird. Cause I was thinking, I know I didn't set up that much XP. Let's see. Alright, so let's go ahead and make a spear. And we're going to get ourselves some meats. Another important tool is a torch. So I'm going to go ahead and make one of those just to have on my bar. And we can go ahead and eat some of these berries too. And it's much easier than sitting in... Oh yeah, look, there's citronals on my back bar. Oh yeah, this is definitely an old character. Just put it on like one of your numbers. Start spamming it. So let's go find this parasaur here. Get ourselves some food. Spears break real easy. And I missed. I did not mean to throw that. There goes our food. Well then, guess we're eating berries tonight. Good grief. So let's go ahead and find some shelter. So, for the sake of just making things a little bit faster, I'm going to go ahead and level up a bit. And just kind of show you around the island. No, I don't want engrams. Oh, maybe I do. Let's go with Ebola. Just speed things up. So I really wanted to show you guys some of the cool stuff. Here we go. Don't really need a lot of fortitude on the island like I do on Ragnarok. Let's see. What else do I usually have? I do a bit of oxygen just because I love underwater. Crafting skill. I think I can put more into melee. I like melee damage. Now I have all these points that I don't know what to do with. So I'm so used to Ragnarok and having to have tons and tons of fortitude. Hey Dilo, this is probably not gonna end well for me, but we'll see. Hey, we knocked it out! See, this is the beauty of having tons and tons of fortitude. So normally I would open it up and I would go ahead and put meat in it to tame it, feed it some mejo berries, but I'm just gonna kill it. I'm gonna chop it up. So, pickaxe is meat, regular axe is hide. Good things to know. Axe will get you wood and stone, pickaxe will get you flint and metal. So a bit of stone. We're gonna make a campfire and cook this up real quick. So you just put your meat on there and your wood on there, let it cook. There's what I want. I want you. So now, did I learn how to make the bola? I did. Let's go ahead and make a bola. And there's a dodo too. Look at that. That is beautiful. That is just what I wanted. Wanted both of you. Perfect. So this is not the ideal way to do it. Alright. Good, so now I'm gonna have to find a way to keep him unconscious while I kill this dodo. I don't think I have enough mats to make myself another. Ah, there we go. Oh shoot, I did not mean to go that far with it. But here we go. Put our meat in here. We're gonna watch his torpidity. Force feed it some narco berries as needed. I don't know if that's gonna be enough meat. Basically, the best way to tame them is with their favorite food, which is kibble. And then after that, prime meat or mutton. At least with the pteranodons. But veggie eaters, you know, they're obviously going to prefer berries, veggies, kibble, all that kind of good stuff. And I did it again. I hit too many times with my spear. And didn't get to chop it up with my pickaxe. So let's see. You can see... Is it eaten yet? No, it hasn't. Another compy coming. There it is. Oh, actually, compies I think can only be chopped up with a spear, so I think it's okay. There's a couple animals like that. So narcotics are best. The narco berries aren't great to use, but since I'm not to that point, we're gonna use narco berries. So you just come over here and you hit E, force feed. This is if you're on PC. I have no idea what it is on console. He has not eaten yet. There we go. So you can see the taming effectiveness is only 65%, and that's because I'm not using his favorite food. If he'd been hidden by, say, a compy or another animal, his taming effectiveness would drop too. Do you see how it says +1 level? He's a low B, but if you were taming like a max level 1, you would really want that taming effectiveness to stay as close to 100% as you can, because it makes a big, big difference. And you see, I was thirsty, so I ran over here to the water and drank. There's no such thing as salt water in this game. You're fine. Don't ask me how, but evidently we can drink salt water. So I'm going to come back over here. My campfire should have some nice cooked meat on it. And some charcoal. And charcoal actually becomes a very valuable resource later on, so... And still a couple cooking up. Go ahead and eat this. So now I'm going to show you what a saddle looks like for a pteranodon. I wouldn't necessarily say go for a pteranodon as your first animal. To me, it's what I usually do, because I kind of don't really like to live where I spawn in. I like to go to other places, but if you're okay staying where you are, because you're not familiar with a map, not like somebody like me who's played for, you know, 1600 hours and knows this map and Ragnarok pretty well, and you know where you want to go, stay on the beach for a little bit. Tame something like a parasaur. Parasaurs are really good company. They will carry lots of stuff for you, so as you're building, you're gathering your mats to make a house, you got somebody there to help you out. So you're going to start off with thatch, basically. And at least that's what everybody does. You can get fancy if you level up pretty fast and go straight up to wood. But you're going to want to make a bed or a sleeping bag as soon as you can. The difference between a sleeping bag and a bed is a sleeping bag is single use. A bed is a permanent spawn point. So when you die, you will spawn wherever your bed is. So it's very important. Now, as you see, it keeps telling me equip a saddle ride. So I have to come over here to this engrams page and search for, oops, Pteranodon saddle, and it's level 38. So obviously this does not make a good starter mount because you have to be level 38, and it costs 15 engram points to make, and it's rather pricey to make. So I don't have any of the materials to make it at the moment, but I am going to just give myself a saddle so I can show you all around the map. And I was supposed to have this code ready before I started playing, but I didn't. So here we go. I hit the default button is tab. I changed mine to tilde because that's what the console is on most games. So you hit give item num, and you can look up. There's some great sites out there. Play Jurassic has a really great one that lets you search item codes very easily, and if you don't mind cheating at all, and get what you need. So now we check his stats. He's kind of terrible. He's not going to be able to hold a lot of weight, but he is better because of classic flyers than probably most of the flyers you would tame without that setting on. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here now that we have our mount. And let me make sure I have pins on the map. I do not. That is unfortunate. Let me see if that's under options. I don't remember where that was. I didn't see it under options, but somehow I know I missed it somewhere. Alright, so what I will do is give myself a GPS instead. That is an ichthy. There we go. No, that was a metal pillar. I thought it was 176 for the GPS. Evidently, I don't know my codes as well as I thought I did. 175? Metal ladder. Well then. That is not helpful. 75. Oops. That is thatch. No. Okay. And the Pteranodon needs to land. I'm sitting here trying to figure out the codes, and poor Pteranodon is not doing so well. Alright, so where I brought you, let me just back out of this game real quick and see if I can get the settings up to show pins. Exit to main menu. Get this set up again. So I think you all really need to see if I can figure out what the pins are. And while I'm doing this, see if I can figure out what the code is for GPS. Okay, so let's see. There should be in here in the settings. Can never find this darn setting. I don't know why. Should be called show players on map, I think, here. Miscellaneous. Not on there. Under general. Let's see if it's under general. Show player location on map. Okay, I am so sorry. So let's get this back going again, and I'm going to go ahead and look up the GPS codes on Ark. Ay, ay, ay. 72. How could I be so off? I have no idea. So let's get this up. And it is loading, it's just taking forever. Oh boy. Yeah, sorry about that. So what I'm going to do from here on out is maybe show you a little bit of stuff quicker. I will probably be cheating in some of this stuff, but just kind of wanted to show you guys some good locations for bases on the island if this is where you're starting at. I do recommend this map for beginners. As much as I like Ragnarok, there are so many hazards on it that make it pretty difficult for starting players. I'd say get your feet under you on the island, play for a week or two, kind of get the basic concept of how it's going. Oh, wait a second, I'm probably lagging here. Okay, there we go. Get sort of the basic concept of how it's going, and go ahead and switch over if you really want to, but I think the island is a beautiful map. It is wonderful. So let me go ahead and 72. Wait, what is that? Be invulnerable to move for... Oh. I didn't think I turned on the admin codes. Oh. Hope there was a U in there, huh? Sorry. So, let's put the GPS on the bar. And now let's open up the map so we can see where I am on the map. Yay, look at this. So there's a bowl shape. This is the very northeast area of the map. I call this Beaver Valley. I think the official name is, let me just get my map off. Oh, hey, it would help if I took the console off, huh? There we go. The official name, if you hold down H, is Hidden Lake. So I'm going to do one more thing here. Whoa. I just want this bird not to be terrible. So I don't recommend doing this for you, but just so that I can show you the island more quickly. And that is, sadly, not even as good as any of the birds that I can breed. So, hang on one second. Oh, my apologies. So, this area is wonderful. This is a great beginner area. I will say it's not safe. Things do spawn in here. I've had Alpha Rexes spawn in here a few times. Tickle chickens will spawn in here. The Therizinosaurus, whatever they're called. We call them tickle chickens or Teresa birds. Dilos will spawn in here. On occasion, dire bears have spawned in here. However, once you get the place kind of set up a bit, it's a lot easier to handle. So you see right here, there's an entrance into this valley. Over here, also an entrance into the valley. Same on this side, entrance into the valley. What I always do is, since we usually build as a community here... Oh, here's the tickle chicken. these things are almost as badass as Rexes. I usually go in and I build behemoth gates, and there's a trick. So when you start building foundations, it will stop resources from spawning within, I think it's 10 of the foundation. So within 10 like foundation blocks of your foundation, if you cut down a resource, a new resource won't respawn there. So there's a trick to closing off things that don't screw up your resources, and that's using dino gates, using behemoth gates. And I can do 3 here, like right about here, close off this section of the valley. 2 or 3 here, and 2 on the other side. So that means people can come in and they can walk in and out, and their resources in these valley gulches are not screwed up. And they've got a really safe area, because the more you start building your houses in this valley, the less animals and nasty things are going to start spawning. But I used to just put like a few little animals on, you know, on Wander, on Neutral. I had a Kentosaurus, you know, Kenny, we called him Kenny. He would wander around here and he'd kill anything. But basically the main feature of this valley that makes it so good is the beavers. You see here, they spawn, and we have not done anything yet that's blocked the beaver spawns. They spawn in the water, and they make dams. And the dams are full of wood, full of cement paste, full of rare flowers, full of rare mushrooms. And these are great resources. I mean, you do have to watch the beavers. They will come and attack you basically the second you touch their dams. Oh, and pearls. Pearls too. But you get so many free resources from them. And you just take everything out of the dam, and new ones will respawn. You may have to kill the beavers that are there, but the beavers will respawn pretty fast. And it's just so many wonderful resources for you. The other beauty of this place is Hesperornis spawn. And, you know, like I put the Jones egg and poop collector on here. And I was getting golden Hesperornis eggs in there, because the Hesps were laying eggs for me. It was beautiful. So, let's talk about a few other wonderful places to build on Ragnarok. I'm going to show you again where I was. So you see that bowl shape there on the map? Right there. So here, for reference, here's one mountain, smaller mountain. There's a snow mountain there. There's another small mountain here. Green obelisk, carnivore island. And right up here, you can just kind of fly up. If you can't find it, boom, there it is. And there's wonderful paths through the woods that make it easy to get in and out of, and it's generally pretty safe. And I started very close to it, though I started in a hard area. And that is Carnivore Island. Not a place I'd recommend living. But if you're crazy, go for it. So, mountains on the island are where you're going to find most of your metal. So, the other reason that I like it is because it's in between sort of 3 mountains, and you can, you know, ferry your Ankleos via Quetzal or whatever carrier. I don't think an RG can carry an Ankleo. I think it has to be a Quetzal. But you can also tame an Ankleo at the top of a couple of these mountains, leave them there, and just have a bunch of, you know, Pteranodons or RGs that you ride back and forth to the mountain before you have your Quetzal and pick up metal and then ride back home, which works very, very well. So now, the next spot that I'm going to is down south, and there are many wonderful spots. This is not horrible either because it's super duper flat. It is very close to the swamp, which kind of terrifies me. I hate the swamp. So I'm not sure if I would necessarily build here, but look at that. That's nice flat land. Flat is good if you want to build big. Let's see. My bird's weight limit is a little bit high, so I'm going to go ahead and throw out some stuff here. There we go. But this is sort of, and these are my recommendations. You can probably find a lot more, but these are all places that I've built successfully and absolutely adore. So this one is close to the southern spawns, the spawns that I didn't take. It's beyond the swamp. So generally the southern spawns, I think one of the more northern southern spawns tends to put you out right across from this place. And I know a lot of people early on to get XP will start crafting rafts because they're inexpensive. And basically all you gotta do, yeah, I think you could spawn right across the water from those Brontos. Sometimes right over in here, I've found. But this little spot here is a gold mine. It's wonderful. I mean, the only problem is you are going to have to use raft transport, which is why I recommended the Moby Dick list, because this place is fantastic. Look at this. There is not a single carnivore on this island. It is a herbivore island, and it's covered in metal. Look at that. Metal everywhere. Just right on the back side of the island. Tons of metal. Waiting for you. Good stuff. Look at that. And this little shape here is really nice to build in. I built a base. I did sort of my building back against this wall and then my pen up in here and closed it off with gates, but didn't really even need gates at all. I didn't know that at the time because I'd never built on this place, and I thought, oh, for sure something's going to come, but it turns out no, this is all herbivores. And right in here is another really nice feature of this too. If you like underwater, you can block off this area here with behemoth gates pretty easy in the water. If I can get this bird to land. There we go. So you just block off this little cove here with some behemoth gates. Just put them, I would put one here, one here, and then do maybe however many it takes to block that off. So you have a nice deep parking spot for your larger animals. You can see there's some sharks in here now, so it's not really safe in the water. At the moment, I see a manta, 4 sharks. Yeah, it's not good, but I mean, you can pull your raft in and be just fine. And here's a nice bonus too. Explorer note. There you go. Look at that. Wonderful. Great place. But this is very, very far south, so we're going to look at where it is on the map. It's an island. Let me pull out the trusty GPS. So it was at about 80. And now we're going to head off to the other spot. I forgot to, I don't think I showed the GPS coordinates for the other spot. That's unfortunate. I might have to go back up there and do that. This is the last spot that I'm going to show you for today. There are many, 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 many wonderful spots. And again, this is why I like getting the flyer first, because sometimes I find a spot and I'm like, I've never built here before, I'm going to try this out. But, yeah, this map's full of great places to build. Look how flat that is. Oh, an alpha raptor. I like finding nice, safe, cozy spots next to water. Alpha carno. So this one may take me a second to find. I don't know why. I always have a hard time finding it in the redwood. I get lost. So this one, like I said, is a little bit more dangerous. You gotta watch Thiaclios. They will jump you on your mounts. When I came back to the game, I didn't know about them. And kept repeatedly flying a little too low. Getting dismounted. I was not happy about that, because I died a few times. It was irritating. But the benefit of the redwood forest is you can use the tree platforms. You got really good supply of cactus sap if you're going to tame snails for cement paste. You've got a mountain here full of metal. And it's just really pretty. I love this zone. I don't know why. Ah, I see it. Alright, so we're gonna go fly in here and land at my favorite spot, number 3. Look at this. Isn't this pretty? There are wonderful redwoods that can be built on in here. There's this gorgeous lake, this little island. It is definitely not safe. There are bears, there are carnos, there are all manner of nasty creatures, there are Trudons. This is not the first place you want to build if you're not experienced with Ark. This is where you want to build after you've kind of gotten some notches under your belt and you understand how the game works. You can defend yourself. You know, you got a good grasp of how things work. But this place is incredible. Look at that. Over here you got this wonderful waterfall. There's gigantic fish in the water. So if you got some baryonyx, they're easy to feed. You got some otters, they're easy to feed. I always build my house right back here, and then I never get to the part because I always end up distracted and doing something else, but I want to put tree platforms. Actually, no, I did once. I put a couple of tree platforms and connected them here. It was beautiful. So beautiful. Love the hidden lake. Alright. So I think at the risk of dying a horrible death, and everything that entails, I am going to go ahead and call it here, ladies and gentlemen, but I hope I was able to provide you with something that was helpful, and I hope to see you back again. Take care. Bye-bye now.